Rebuilding a rust-proof Land Rover Part 14. The upper dashboard is now securely fitted in place, and today I am fitting a panel into the centre of the lower dashboard. This will have a twin USB charging socket and a standard 12-volt power output socket, a necessary concession for modern day requirements. What are the modern day requirements, you may be asking? Well, the 12-volt output is quite useful for my tyre inflator. This Land Rover was made in 1971 and we didn't have satellite navigation systems then. In the Land Rover I will be using my mobile phone as a sat-nav, so I need somewhere to plug it in. When I look at the modified wiring loom with the split positive feed, I can't remember what I had in this position when I first rebuilt this Land Rover. I think I had a clock in it. I can't really remember. Quite a lot of the parts are missing from these particular areas. I bought this really nice 3D printed panel via eBay. It wasn't very expensive and it's just the look that I want. Originally I bought this stainless steel panel which was fitted with the USB charger and the power output, as well as 2 switches and even a voltmeter. But I didn't like the look of it, and also it says Defender on it, and this is not a Defender, it's actually a Series 2A, with a different front end and a different chassis. I'm now going to drill a hole in this 3D printed panel to take the sockets, just 2 of them. The problem is that this 3D printed stuff melts at a very low temperature. I drilled a pilot hole in the centre of the panel first, but to be on the safe side I'm using a piece of mahogany. I cut a hole quite deep in this mahogany, and when the tool gets to the bottom of this hole I know that both of the holes will be the correct size to take the power outlet fittings. Doing it this way seemed like a good idea, and indeed it is. The melting of the plastic became a real problem very quickly. I had to keep stopping to let it cool. But I got there in the end and both of the holes were in the right place. I knew this piece of stainless steel would come in useful. I made a simple wooden structure and it functions as a cover and a suitable mounting for the panel that I'm going to screw into place. I used PVA wood glue to stick 2 pieces of mahogany on each end of a piece of plywood, and then 2 pieces of stainless steel across the Defender panel puts enough weight on the parts to keep them in the right place. And 24 hours later the PVA adhesive had done its stuff and it's a very strong structure. I cleaned it up and levelled it up using the belt sander. To be honest, it wasn't the best quality piece of plywood I've ever seen. But it will look okay when it's painted and it will certainly do the job. Talking about painting, here's the operation in the outer part of the workshop. For this part, the quality of the paint is relatively unimportant, so I'm using a very cheap tin of satin black, and it's applying okay and it's soaking in quite nicely everything that I want it to do. I can't say this aerosol nozzle is as good as I would like it to be. It does tend to apply too much paint. Or possibly is that me just trying to rush the job? Either way, it was okay and I left it for 24 hours to dry. Time to have a look at the Land Rover itself outside in the garden. I've been really busy applying acrylic stopper to all the marks in the paint. At this point, and it's not an excuse, I would like to mention that I do not want a perfect paint finish. I want it to look its age and have some patina. Some things have to change though. I made some mountings for the seat belts, which work very well. They're a little bit on the low side, but they'll be okay. The main body is turned up from stainless steel with a very high tensile steel bolt through the middle and a bush at the top with a couple of washers to allow the top to swivel slightly. With the part that supports the seat belt itself fixed in one place, the seat belt was tending to twist and double up in the fitting, but since I put the bush in to allow some free play, it doesn't do that. It works very well. This part isn't going to be painted. I will leave it in natural stainless steel finish. The dashboard is now in place, complete with the trim as well. This part of the job was surprisingly difficult to do, but I will give you a tip. Start from the left-hand side. Don't leave the handle to the last operation. This is the best of the two wings, and it still isn't as good as it looks in this image. It needs a good application of acrylic stopper like at the other side. I've removed the Land Rover badge from the right hand side. I'm going to do some work on that and make it look very good. Here's a power panel with the fittings in place, sat on a piece of wood. I'm using a 4mm twist drill to mark the position where I need to drill and thread some holes in the wood. To fit it all together, I'm going to use some stainless steel Allen head dome head bolts. I think they'll look quite good, much better than screws. I didn't bother showing the drilling part, you'll have to use your imagination for that bit. I drilled 2 tapping size holes for M5 in each of the 2 mahogany blocks. I have many tapping sizes in my head, but for imperial threads only. Suddenly I had a brainwave, so it's top tip time. To find out the tapping size on a modern tap where the shank is a lesser diameter than the part that cuts the threads, gave me a clue as to what diameter tapping size drill I needed to use. According to this, about 3.5mm would be okay. I actually used 4mm. Here's a test fit of the M5 stainless steel dome head bolt. The next part of the operation, and I've shown this many times in many of my videos, when I use machine screws into wood. It's called superglue. It's important for this job to use the low viscosity superglue so that it soaks into the wood. But don't fill the hole right up to the top. Just put sufficient in to strengthen the existing threads. I quickly screwed the stainless steel bolts in and out to spread the superglue evenly on the threads in the holes in the wood. After this, I left the part for a couple of hours for the superglue to harden. And then I took the parts out of the Land Rover, connected the electrical connectors and bolted the panel into position, and I think it looks okay. It's quite a good match for the dashboard and looks like it's always been there. Finally, in this episode, I'm going to start work on the number plates. This number plate is the rear one, as you can see, and I could just go out and buy a new one, but no, I want the patina. I want it to look old, but I don't want it to be bent like this one is. It's made from soft aluminium, so it didn't take long with a small hammer to straighten everything out, including this damaged part. When I got this Land Rover, a lot of the paint from the rear number plate had disappeared anyway, and before driving it to Rossmore Garage for some essential work that needed doing to it, I filled in the missing paint with a Sharpie felt tip pen, but now that has to go because I'm going to paint it properly. Don't worry, I'm not going to show too much of this job because it is tedious to the nth degree. I'm cleaning up the aluminium with one of these rotary Scotch-Brite type cleaners. Although I must mention that these are not manufactured by the company Scotch-Brite. The plastic type material that the wheel is made from has some abrasive embedded in it, and provided you don't use too high an RPM, they work perfectly. This video sequence is running at an increased speed, but that's down to the video editor, not the speed at which I was doing the job. Cleaning the edges and the numbers and letters is only the beginning. There's a lot more to do. More about this in the next episode. I can't wait. Stay safe, stay healthy. Thanks for watching, and I hope you found it useful. Please take the time to visit my Mainsteam Models website and click on the section of the website that says Video Playlists. And by doing that, you can find other videos that you may like to watch. And by using the playlists, you can actually watch the videos back to back.